So before anything else, we hit 100 subscribers last week, and I have to say I'm still kind of in awe about it, which is so amazing. I honestly genuinely did not think anyone would really care about my little videos. So the fact that we even managed to hit 100, like, I am so genuinely thankful for you guys and anyone who tunes in. So pat ourselves on the back. It was so exciting. So thank you if you are one of them. Now, I originally had plans today to meet up with a friend and go into the city, but they fell through. She wasn't feeling well, so I ended up spending all of my day at home, which is honestly fine. I do not mind. We're gonna have a very, very cozy evening, but along with that, I wanted to share some of my reads from last year. I actually have a whole list of them with notes so I don't forget about them. And I'm just gonna talk it through with you guys as we go through our evening, because what is better than a cozy evening at home on a cloudy day like today where it might rain with a book. Let that sink in, but that's it. That sounds really good. I kind of divided these up into three main categories, and the first one I'm going to talk about is dark and atmospheric fantasy. So the first two are actually books that are part of a duology. So the first one is One Dark Window, and oh my god, I give this one a 10 out of 10. This was so good. I mean, first of all, the world building of One Dark Window is fantastic. The first book is more of an intro, I would say, to the whole system. I mean, it's pretty wild and really like kind of goes in depth. So the first book really sets you up for what's to happen. It gives you some of the background and gets a bit into a lot of the conflict. Might I add, the male main character, he's so refreshing. I mean, when I read about him, I think what really pulled me in is the way he's described in this book is not like all other fantasy books or romantasy books where kind of the stereotype I feel like we're falling into nowadays is a broody, lustful man. Like, you will read the description and you can right away know, like, that's him. This one, he's not like that. He's not broody, lustful. You know, I feel like they give him a little bit more depth. And what I loved about it is, like, I couldn't really pinpoint if it was him. Like, I wasn't sure. He came up and I'm like, ooh, I don't know. That sounds like it could be him. Then the second one that follows up with it is Two Twisted Crowns. Now this one, I'm gonna give it a 7 or an 8.5 out of 10. It kind of threw me. You see, what happens is we have, in the first book are two main characters. In the second book, we still kind of follow the two main characters, but they become separated. And I think for like almost half the book, we're now focused on two other characters that kind of form like the second love couple. And for me, once I'm invested in the first couple, like the main couple of the book, I want to be with them, and their story hadn't finished. And suddenly we're thrown and there's now a second couple. It took me a while to get accustomed to the book, I think. But at the end, I gotta say, there was a plot twist. It was so good. Hands down, one of the best, I would say, romantasy world building. Like, if you want a good world building with magic that actually is like quite complicated, this one. I have read the first book of this. I think it's either 2 or 3 books. I don't know. I think the second one's coming out soon, or it has come out. Is The Night and the Moth, and I saw this constantly around TikTok. 15 out of 10. It's whimsical. It has a little bit of danger. It has witty banter. I mean, what more do you want? The gargoyle, hands down, could carry most of the book with the dialogue. Love it. I was a little confused in the beginning, but as you read more, it starts to make sense. And we kind of gather information along with the main character. If this line does not convince you, I don't know what will. I have disdain in me, yes, but none for you. That's it. That's all I'm giving. I ate it up. I think I ate it in 2 days. Next is For the Wolf. 10 out of 10. Basically a darker retelling of Red Riding Hood. There's lush writing. I think the characters are morally complex. You know, And I'm not saying any of that, oh, he's slightly in the gray area. Like, no, actually morally complex. I feel like the romance in this book actually builds in a timeline that's more believable. I feel like in other books, it's kind of like, oh, they've only known each other for 2 weeks. And we're here, which isn't bad. I like that. But this one actually makes sense, and it feels, you can feel it with the characters that it's building and everything. The book honestly convinced me that Hannah Witten, I'll read anything from her. I love the way that she writes her books and her stories. It's next we have The Foxglove King. This one gets a 9 out of 10. If you're into more gothic fantasy, I would say this one pushes onto that type of genre. There's necromancy, secret cults, and then, of course, you get a little bit of palace politics, which, shoot me, I like a little bit of drama. The writing here, I feel like, is also very lush and slightly feral, but you'll have to read for that. And this is another book where I am waiting to read the sequel of. Finally, I feel like this one has popped up on TikTok and kind of really gotten popular, and it's Quicksilver. That I would give a 10 out of 10. You're into fae romantasy, this is for you. The world building in this book is interesting because you have to remember points given in the beginning chapters that will later link in the later chapters. Makes me feel like a detective. One thing though, make sure you're ready in Quicksilver because your emotions will get shattered. Just saying. I am starving, so let's get something to eat and we'll continue with our little book review. Okay, I just finished up some self-care. I redid my toes and I applied this body oil that I got from Benamor in Portugal, Lisbon. But I wanted to talk more about the books. And this time we're gonna shift more towards lighter fantasy / kind of more mythology. The first one on it is The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. I give this one an overall 7.9 out of 10. Overall, loved it. It's as fantasy can get. It's whimsical. It's quite literally a storybook. I struggled with the book a bit because our main character, she built and designed to be the stereotypical storybook character that's looking out for her happily ever after, and she has this very hopeful outlook on life, and it annoyed me honestly. I think maybe I'm just a very cynical person. Every time she was so hopeful and she's like, it's gonna turn out for the best and don't worry, and she's still looking for her Prince Charming and, you know, her happily ever after, I'm just like, girl, stick with the facts. It sucks. Especially, I have to say, with her relationship with her stepsis. I don't want to spoil too much, but that with her being, you know, the very forgiving and hopeful and, oh, like, second chance. Like, no, sometimes you have to be the bitch, unfortunately. But I did kind of take it back at the end of the book where that personality, it actually came in clutch with how it entered, because otherwise the male main character would be dead. Then the second one, my friend actually recommended this. She came with high praise. Long Live Evil. So this one I gave a 7 out of 10. If you're really into like the manhwas that are about truck comes, hits the girl, she gets reincarnated into the storyline and she's the villainess, that is literally this book form. One thing I struggled with was the girl was in denial a bit too long. There were times when I'm like, please just get your head in the game. start acting like it. Like, this isn't the time. You obviously see you're not home. There were just a couple times where I'm like, you need to get over this denial phase and realize what happened to you. There were a couple sad parts where my heartstrings were pulled. I do appreciate how the author put in the butterfly effect of changed actions create changed results. And we do get morally gray, unhinged man behavior in this. So I gotta say, that's peak. Also, her friend that she finds out is also in the same situation. I love him. Next, we have Silver Elite, and I give this one a 7.5 out of 10. If you're craving a little bit of a dystopian vibe, this is your book. Male main character, extremely hot. What more can I say? It was a good start. I feel like as a standalone book, it's not enough, which is why I'm really curious as to how it's going to develop further in book 2. That one I'm excited to read because there's a lot of questions I have and a lot of things that are unanswered. Maybe the score of this one will go up based on how book 2 goes. But the action, I would have to say, is really interesting, which is why I stuck around with it. A little bit of gore, like a little bit. I would say it gave like a hint of Divergent vibes, just a hint. Next is The Black Witch. 7 out of 10. My qualms with it was a very, very slow start, so don't expect a lot of action right away. You have to, I think, get through almost like half the book before the plot starts picking up, which is why I almost DNF'd it. I'd say in the beginning, it's a lot of like petty, high society, political banter that goes on between the girl and other girls that I just wasn't living. I need my action to come in quicker. Another thing is, spoiler, okay, this one I have to spoil a little bit. The main girl, she's green. All green, head to toe. I could not stop picturing Alphaba, which also I think made me want to DNF it because I couldn't see anyone but Alphaba in it. But I will say, the way that the world is created here and how it really mimics our society and what happens in our world is incredible. And the social hierarchy that is established along with societal issues, that was more than enough that like once we got more into her world and understanding her world, that kept me, because that was really, really interesting. And I feel like the author is having a lot of commentary on our society. I really don't want to spoil it too much. The last one of this group is Atalanta. This one I give an 8 out of 10. So it's a Greek mythology retelling of a girl who is trying to break out of the expectations that society places on her. It was a slightly slow start in the beginning, but once they got kind of the background and all the information established that you needed for the adventure to start, the rest of the book was beautiful. It made me reflect on how it is that I am perceived in society, in the public, and kind of the roles and expectations I'm made to fit, but also how those really don't define me. And I feel like this book delves beautifully into that topic. The ending is so unexpected. Honestly, it's a little bit heart-wrenching, but not in a sad way. I guess bittersweet is the word for it. It's a really bittersweet ending. Let's continue with our night. And I have a nice cool face mask in the fridge waiting to be put on. Oh my god, that's gonna be so crisp. Okay, I'm falling asleep, but before I do go fully to bed, I thought I would finish up my little reading list. First up, we have A Little Life. I know this one, I think, got really popular around like winter of 25, fall, winter. On TikTok, a lot of people were talking about it. This one, 10,000 out of 10. 10,000 out of 10. This book emotionally wrecked me. I quite literally remember reading the last couple of chapters sobbing so heavily. Even after finishing the book, I had to sob for like a couple minutes straight to just let everything out. I mean, it's so incredibly well written. The story just draws you in and you connect with the characters on such a deep level that their happiness is your happiness, their pain is your pain. I mean, it really is incredible. It does dive into more heavy and deeper topics, which is a little warning, but I think even though it is so emotionally heavy, I remember so free after reading it. Like, reading it helped me kind of work through the more heavier emotions I had in my heart, and I felt so much lighter and more free afterwards. It was a spiritual experience. Next is Gone Girl. Now, I have read the book and I have seen the film. Both are really good. I give the book itself a 9 out of 10. The main character, she is unhinged, completely unhinged, a little bit dramatic and a little bit crazy. But the way she goes about getting her little revenge is insane. The detail that goes into it, you won't even realize until like halfway through the book how meticulous she is. I love it. I would recommend reading the book first and then watching the movie. The movie was one of those great adaptations where they were able to replicate the book so well. Of course, they couldn't fit everything, but they were able to fit the most important details and get that same essence out of it. Next on my list is Tokyo Ueno Station. This one I give a 10 out of 10. It's a shorter read. I would say you can probably get it done within a day. I think I did it within 2 days. It's so poetic. It's grief tinged. I did cry a little bit. It's about loneliness and history, really about how people's lives happen invisibly next to the lives that we pay attention to. You know, we're not just NPCs, like all other people aren't NPCs. Everyone else is experiencing happiness, sadness, hurt, grief, regret, all at the same time that you yourself are going through it. I think it really just makes me think about that and kind of gives me an existential crisis. But that's okay, we love it. Next, I didn't expect to like this one. I was a bit intrigued. It's called The Elegance of a Hedgehog. This one also gets a 10 out of 10. This one, like the last three, has made me cry. I think you expect the book going into it to be about a witty character with the way the story sets out. But then all the emotional scenes hit you and suddenly you see that it's more than just surface level witty banter between characters and how much depth there actually is between them. Because it follows two. The main woman that takes care of the condo complex, and then the little girl that lives there, and the way that they interact and just keenly observe each other is so interesting. And the way that they have their separate lives, but yet at the same time their lives interact so much and there's so many common threads between them. It's so interesting. Finally, last one. It's a little different than all the other ones I've listed, but the Let Them theory. This one gets a 7 out of 10, and that's honestly the highest I've ever rated self-help books. I'm not a big fan of self-help books. I feel like a lot of the time the advice that's in these self-help books is apparent to me. And when we get to the actual thick of it, deep root of the issue the self-help book is addressing, I find that there isn't much advice given. I don't want to seem cocky, but for me, it's a lot of the stuff I feel like, yeah, it's self-apparent that I need to do this to better myself. Let Them theory was more, I feel like I read that one and I actually had advice that I was like, this is a good reminder, or this is actually really good advice to be given. And it did make me roll my eyes. Simple idea, I would say a good execution of it, and really helps if you're spiraling. That's what I think this book is for. If you're really spiraling, it really helps ground you and kind of remind you of like the basics. So those are all 17 books that I've read last year. If you have read any of these, please let me know what you think. I love talking about these books, so I would love to hear if you have any thoughts on these. And if you have any recommendations, because of course, I always need to have a TBR stacked. Please let me know. Thank God I got that done because I thought I would fall asleep, but I actually will fall asleep right now. So I'm gonna go and hit the hay, and I'll see you in the next vlog.